Here we are. We're going to start with our picks and previews this week. Thursday, Colts at Broncos.
Oof.
And we're going to start with me. I'm not even sure I'm going to watch this game because I don't think it's going to be that fun of a game to watch, to tell you the truth. And I don't really have any dog in the fight, so I'm going to take the Colts. I think the Broncos are that bad.
Wow. We already know JT is going to be out. Pittman might be okay. I don't trust any other Colt, including darling Nyheim Hines. As to the Broncos, without Javonte Williams, I'm guessing Melvin Gordon is the guy that you can't afford to sit if you've got him.
So is he your bust out player?
I'm going to say Melvin Gordon is going to be my bust out player. I'm going to say Nyheim Hines is my busted player, and I'm going to take the Broncos.
Okay, Tom takes the Broncos. Okay, I did not give you my bust or my bust out player. My bust out player is going to be Matt Ryan. I think he's going to have a good game. My busted player is going to be Russell Wilson, as always. Tobin.
All right, I'm going to go Broncos, which hurts me as a Chiefs fan to say. Actually, I wanted to pick Elmer's glue to win this game between the Colts and the Broncos, but we might get canceled if I did that. So
I might have a comment before you.
People eating tasty animals?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm open for their comments. I'll put my email on the screen for people.
Your bust out player of the week.
Broncos, I'm going to go bust out player. I think it's going to be Cortland Sutton. I'm not sure that's a surprise. And then busted, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan in this one.
Okay. Okay, Tom. Bengals versus the Ravens. Who you picking?
Oh, I definitely got the Bengals. Until the Ravens show me that they can stop somebody in the second half, I'm not going to trust them. They can't stop anyone. I already told you about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They're my fourth and fifth top 5 receivers this week. I don't like Joe Mixon right now, but I don't think they're going to need him.
Who's your bust out?
I'm going to go ahead and go with Jamar Chase. I think this is his set the pecking order in the wide receiver room for the Bengals. I think this is
and your bust player of the week.
I'm going to bust Joe Mixon. I don't like what's going on right now with him. He had a meeting with the offensive line to try to get on the same page as they're on. I'm worried about it.
He's completely off that Mixon train, isn't he?
He looks bad. He just looks he's not getting through any tackles.
Well, they're meeting him 2 yards in the backfield a lot too.
Doesn't help.
That has something to do with it.
Okay, Tobin, who you taking?
I'm going to go against Tommy. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think this is the week they do it at home. I'm going to go Ravens. I think Lamar's going to go. I think he's going to put it on his shoulders, and you may see him run even more this week. Busted. I have to agree. I think Mixon's the guy right now. He hasn't shown the ability to break anything. He's not looking quick. He's not looking strong. And he has no O-line. So,
okay.
I mean, I don't like J.K. Dobbins that much in this game either, but they're forcing the ball to him. So I can't make him a busted play because he'll probably get at least a receiving touchdown if he doesn't get a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he'll get 6, 7, 8 targets, catch 4 or 5 of them, and probably get a TD there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm taking the Bengals. Shocker of all shocks. I think they're going to have. I think this is the game where they finally put it all together and become what we think they're going to be. My bust out player is going to be Joe Burrow. I think he's going to throw 375 and 4.
Wow.
I think he's going to have one. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to stop him from playing catch with the kid in the front row if he wants to. My bust player, Bateman, wide receiver for Baltimore.
He's already injured, not practicing.
Yeah. And Burrow might be playing catch with the guy in the front row. That's where he usually throws it when he's getting rushed and has to throw it away.
I've got the busted player already picked out, don't I? With Bateman, I win, don't I?
Probably, yeah.
So I think I'm going to go with Baltimore wide receivers at this point in time. Then, if he's not there, so I can't name one, I'll take Baltimore wide receivers, just because I don't think they have any. Okay, the next game on the list is Raiders versus the Chiefs. Tobin, who you taking, buddy?
You all know I'm taking my Chiefs. There's no doubt. I think it's going to be a tough one. The Raiders always play well in Kansas City. Derek Carr especially usually has a good game in Kansas City. But I don't think they can score with the Chiefs. I think this is a shootout. The over-under, I think, is 51 in this one. And I think I'm leaning towards the over in this one. Bust out. Gosh, it's hard not to say Travis Kelce in this one. He just seems to have his way with the Raiders. Busted. Let's go. Busted. Let's go Josh Jacobs. I think the Chiefs showed something in the last few weeks against the run game, and I think Jacobs may struggle.
Okay. I'm taking the Raiders. Raiders in Kansas City is almost like a home game for them. The bust out player going to be Carr. Busted player, got to go with Jacobs. I don't think Jacobs is going to come close to doing what he did, especially since he's not going to touch the ball very often because they're going to be slinging all over the place. Tom?
Man, the Raiders are in must-win mode now. I do agree. For whatever reason, the Raiders and Derek Carr play really well in Kansas City. I don't know if it's like channeling the John Madden era Raiders or whatever it is, but they come to Arrowhead ready to play every single time.
Those franchises just hate each other. I mean, it's like a Cowboys Redskins matchup. Throw everything out the window, and it's going to be a battle.
So, who you taking?
Man, let me go busted and bust out first.
Okay.
My bust out, I'm going to take TK. TK kills the Raiders. I mean, it's just set your watch to it. I mean, 136 and a TD is the minimum that I'd start with.
136. That's very specific.
It's just what's in my head. If you made me name number of receptions, I'd go 7.
Kelce, 136, 7 for 136 and 1, right?
Yep.
Put that down there. If he doesn't achieve that, it's a bust. He's a bust, isn't he?
No.
Okay. So who's your bust player?
I'm going to bust CEH. Everybody is going to be on top of him after his great game against the Buccaneers. And that's not how the Chiefs beat the Raiders on the ground. They just don't. They just throw the ball all over the place. And it's an old AFL game. So I think that CEH takes a back seat here. Probably this is more of a McKinnon week, a McKinnon out of the backfield week.
So who's going to win?
I'm gonna go Chiefs. I don't know. I want to pick the Raiders, but I can't lose any more ground to Tobin.
Oh, so you're choosing because Tobin's there. Okay, the next one I get to go with Titans versus the Commodes. I'm taking the Titans. I don't think it's going to be
mark
close.
Everybody down for this one. I'm not even taking the Commodes in the Commode this week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tobin?
I agree. It's Titans.
Okay. My bust out player going to be Henry. Henry's going to run for the world against him. My busted player going to be Wentz. Wentz is going to be running all over the place, trying to throw the ball, get rid of it. And it's too bad because Wentz put together a pretty solid first 3 games, and all of a sudden he's starting to fall apart, which is kind of the Wentz type of doing things, isn't it?
Well, we talked about it, the offensive line. I mean, we're on our 3rd string center. We're actually, I think we're going to be down to one of our starting offensive linemen this week because Cosme might be out at right tackle.
Okay, who's your busted player and your bust out?
My bust out's going to be King Henry. 200 combined yards, I think, is a lock. Probably 2 touchdowns. My busted player is going to be Washington running back. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say Antonio Gibson. Robinson is practicing. There is a chance that Robinson plays this weekend.
Okay.
So
As of today, they've got him listed as out.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
he must have not done enough in practice today to show them something that they like.
I mean, it is Wednesday, so you've still got Thursday, Friday. That could change, but as of today's report, they've got him listed out. But that's probably because they haven't activated him off of it yet.
Yep.
They've activated him
For the rehab portion.
but they haven't, and they'll have until
They haven't
Saturday
moved him to the active roster yet.
right.
Tobin, who's your bust and bust out? I'm sorry, Tom, I cut you off.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine.
I think King Henry's going to go nuts, but he's not my bust out. My bust out's going to be Bobby Trees. I think with Treylon Burks out, I think he's going to get a lot of the work throwing the ball, which is the play action's going to be there because Henry's going to be running all over him.
Talking about receivers and tennis, if you're needing a tight end and you're in a league where they haven't got anybody, last week Cheegan Gothway caught a touchdown pass. He's going to be activated for this game again. he might be worth the pickup if you absolutely have to have a tight end to be able to do that, because he has all the skills out of Maryland as a third-round draft pick to become something successful.
Don't
ahead, I'm sorry.
fall for that. He ran 4 routes last week.
Yep. And he caught
Had
a
2
TD.
targets and had a TD.
Hello, Chase Edmonds. My busted player, I think I'm going to go Samuel. I think McLaurin might get a little bit of love, but I think Samuel's going to be disappearing this week.
Okay.
I don't like that pick only because Jahan Dotson is out with a hamstring. So you're really talking about you're down to McLaurin and Samuel and De'Ami Brown.
And Tennessee can't cover the 3 of us.
I'm telling you right now, I expect, especially in the second half, Wentz to probably put up 200 yards passing and will still lose by 10.
Okay. Tom, Eagles, Cardinals. The Battle of the Birds.
I'm going Eagles here. Until they lose, I'm not picking against the Eagles. They look so good on both sides of the ball. I don't think it matters. The Cardinals have the fewest sacks in the NFL. They're not going to sack Jalen Hurts.
Okay, who's your bust out?
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
You're busted?
I'm going to go James Conner.
Okay, Tobin.
I've got to go with the Eagles here. Although I feel like it kind of looks like a trap game. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Cardinals jump up, but I'm going to take the Eagles. I think I'm going to go with AJ Brown as the bust out, or the bust out player. They haven't shown any ability to cover decent wide receivers. Busted. I'm going to go with Marquise Brown.
Okay.
Where's he from this week, Tommy?
Downtown Phoenix.
Downtown Phoenix?
Yeah, he's the number 6 wide receiver in a PPR.
So downtown Phoenix Brown, I think Slay's going to be all over him, and I think he's going to be the guy that disappears.
Okay. I'm taking the Eagles as well, making it the sweep for them, which means they're going to lose probably.
Take the Cardinals and lay in the 5.5 at home.
I too am taking AJ Brown as the bust out player, but I'm taking Murray as my busted player. I think the Eagles defense is going to do everything to contain him, keep him in the pocket, and just absolutely crush him.
It's all about rush lane discipline when you're playing the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. Tobin, Cowboys, Rams.
I'm gonna take the road guys here. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I hope it's Cooper Rush and not Dak. That might change my pick if Dak's playing. But I think really for me the key is the Cowboys defense. So my bust out player is going to be CeeDee Lamb. I don't think the Rams secondary is all that great right now. And my busted player is going to be Cam Akers, because until he shows a pulse, he's riding the bench in the league I have him in.
Yep. Okay, I am taking the Rams. Can't tell you why. I think the Rams are gonna regroup, protect home, put the win on the board, and see if they can't salvage their season. If they don't win this game, their season may be close to being on the borderline of being over with at this point in time. My bust out player, man, how can you not choose Kupp? Every week, Kupp's got to be the man. I mean, he's the RB1. He's a WR1 permanently there until proven otherwise in my rankings from now on.
But he's not busting out.
No,
It's just he's being
he's
Cooper
just being
Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, which is, I'll take that. My busted player gonna be Akers. I don't think Akers has got anything at all unless he shows any type of a heart at all this week. Man, it's hard to choose him to be anything other than the busted player of the week. Tom?
I'm going to take the Cowboys here. Dak most likely is not back. He does not have the grip strength back yet. Also, there was,
and Rush is 3-0. I mean, come on.
and I'm not sure that it's really, what's the point of putting him in this week
When they're 3-0.
against Aaron Donald, where he could potentially land on him and end Dak's season.
Well, and if he wins, what a trivia question that's going to be. Who's the only Cowboy starter to start his career 4-0? And
5-0.
10, 20 years from now, it's
5-0.
never going to be Cooper Rush.
He's 4-0 right now.
No, he's 3-0
No, his last game he started as a Cowboy, he won as well.
Last year.
last year.
Yep. So he's 4-0 as a starting quarterback for the Cowboys.
Zeke is toast. He's done. He's my busted player. I can't put Cam Akers as my busted player because he's been busted this season. Um,
That's the definition of a busted player.
Yeah, exactly.
if you're starting Cam Akers still, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Zeke, at least you could think about. He's putting up 50 yards rushing every game.
Ooh, 5 points. That's a killer, isn't it?
At least it's better than Cam Akers.
It's not, yeah, but that's like, which one's better, a handful of shit or a handful of poop?
See all the above.
Right. CD is going to be my bust out. I don't see how he doesn't totally run up and down the field on the Rams secondary. Rush just needs literally 2 seconds of not having Aaron Donald in his face. I don't know if Zach Martin is out again this week. That could be something. If he is, they're going to have a hard time stopping Aaron Donald.
They have chance. No, but everybody has a hard time stopping Aaron Donald.
It's going to be worse. Gallup and Brown are pop-up wide receivers to me. One of them probably does well here. Almost the same story for the Rams. They've got Cooper Kupp, who's just like CD. He's probably going to toast Trayvon Diggs.
Everybody toasts Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, well, he probably will do it several times. They, again, have come out and said that they got to figure out how to get Allen Robinson involved, and they have to, or they are not going to be competitive.
Martin's not on the injury report today.
Awesome.
Okay, Chargers and Browns. I get to go first. I'm taking the Browns.
To the Super Bowl.
No, I don't think they go to the Super Bowl, but I think the Browns win this game at home. I think the Browns have to, as beat up as the Chargers are, if the Browns don't win this game, you're going to start hearing chants wait till next year soon.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I think that's both teams, by the way.
Well, the Chargers are already saying that, I think. As busted, as beat up as they are, I think they're already saying that. My bust out, I'm going to take Chubb. I think Chubb, Chubb's going to put up 115. He's probably going to go 18 carries, 115 with a touchdown, 3 receptions for 31 yards, and that's it. I'll take that from RB1. But it should be a lot more if they just hand him the ball. And if they don't win, it'll be because they didn't give him the ball enough. My busted player of the week is going to be Herbert. I think Herbert's going to be crushed by the defensive line that's going to be there. Garrett's going to be back. He's going to try to prove what took place and why why they should have beat the Saints if he would, not the Saints, but the Falcons if he would have been in the lineup. The Browns are they're at crossroads. They have to win this game to keep their season going and hopefully be able to go 4-3 over the next 7 before they get Deshaun back. They go 4-3, that makes them 6-5. Get Deshaun back. The last 6 games, go 4-2, sneak in the playoffs. Tom?
I believe this game was 50-38 in Los Angeles last year, the Chargers winning. I'm expecting not quite that type of shootout here, but I'm expecting big scoring. If Dameon Pierce lights up the Chargers, Nick Chubb is going to destroy the Chargers, just like he did last year. I mean, 180-2 is not out of the realm here. Conversely, Austin Eckler and Big Mike Williams blew up the Browns last year. They're going to do it again. I mean, 35-30. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can go against the Chargers. I'm going to have to take the Chargers.
Okay.
My bust out will be, it'll still be Nick Chubb. My busted will be, I'm going to go Kareem Hunt here. I think that Kareem Hunt's taking a backseat to Chubb going forward. I think they've kind of figured that out, and he'll get some scraps, but he is not going to do like what he did last year, at the beginning of last year.
Tobin.
I'm going to go with the Browns here. I think their strength of that running game, and I agree with you, Doc. I think 25 plus carries is a minimum need for Chubb in this one, but their strength really lines up well against the weakness of the Chargers, which is stopping the run. Tommy alluded to it. The Texans just ran all over them at will, with basically half of the running game that Cleveland has. So I think I agree with you guys. I think Chubb's going to be the bust out. Busted, I think I'm going to stay with who disappeared last week, and I think it's going to be Cooper. I don't know. He kind of looks with Brissett like Jerry Jeudy looks like Russ Wilson to me right now in Denver. They're just something not right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Steelers at the Bills. Tobin.
I got to take the Bills here.
That was supposed to be Tom's, but
That's okay.
I blew it. We'll go back to it. You're going to take the Bills here, Tobin?
Yeah, I've got the Bills here. I mean, 2 touchdowns. I think Tommy was telling me pre-show that's the largest number the Steelers have been posted against
Since
in the modern era. Wow, 14 points. That's a lot.
The first time they've been at 14 points, 14-point dogs since the merger.
Yeah, that's a heck of a lot of points, but it's a heck of a lot of points for a reason. So yeah, the Bills, I think bust out. It's going to be Josh Allen. He's going to have his way with the Steelers. Whoever he wants to is going to get 125 and a touchdown. There might be 2 or 3 guys with that this week. Busted. I think it's going to be Kenny Pickett. I think the rookies tend to struggle in this league, and I don't see this being any different.
Okay. I, too, am taking the Bills. I don't think there's any way the Steelers, if they're competitive going into third quarter, I'm going to be surprised. But I think the Bills are going to probably end up beating them by at least 2, probably 3 touchdowns. And it's going to be a long season for you Steelers fans out there. But there's a lot of hope on the horizon for you. My bust out's got to be Josh Allen. I don't think there's any doubt of the fact that he's going to put up huge numbers at this point in time, especially with TJ Watt no longer there at this point in time. My bust out's going to be Najee Harris. I think that he's not going to be able to do anything. They're going to load the box and blitz Pickett to death. They're going to do run blitzes to make sure they contain Harris and keep him there. I think Pickett, 1A, 1B, Pickett, Harris. Tom?
Yeah, I got the Bills rolling in this one. I'm considering laying the points on this one. I don't see any way that the Steelers can keep up with them. I'm going to go with my bust out being, I'm going to go ahead and go Gabe Davis. He's due for a bust out game. And I think that they will double team Diggs with Minka Fitzpatrick. So I think that that's going to leave Davis wide open, kind of like he was against the Chiefs. And my busted is going to be Najee Harris. What I saw with Kenny Pickett is it's centered around Pickett. And he is going to, his first reaction is going to be to run.
For his life.
And
multiple times,
hair on fire. and
I mean, you can't say that
in Buffalo. That's
how it happened.
That's right. That's why it's all going. In Buffalo, Von Miller is going to be dancing on his head all afternoon.
Okay, going back to you, Giants versus the Packers.
Packers in London. The first matchup in London of teams with a winning record. The Giants' winning record is a mirage. There's no way they should have beat Tennessee in week 1.
I agree.
That was dumb.
That was Saquon Barkley.
Since they played the Bears, and then I don't know who the second win was against. I forgot. I know they lost to the Cowboys. You have to play Saquon in this, regardless. He's the number 1 running back. But I'd be cautious. I'm playing him because of his role and because the Giants have no wide receivers. Kenny Golladay, huge surprise, not going to make the trip to London. Wan'Dale Robinson, their rookie draft pick, he's injured. Kadarius Toney, their rookie from last year, who's I think played 5 games in his career, he's not going to be there. So I don't even remember the names of the guys that they're going to play.
I mean, you could go run some routes.
It's like David Sills the fourth, Ricky James, who also I think is injured. It's bad. They've got a rookie tight end, Daniel Bellinger. They're going to get lit up. I'm definitely laying the points for the Packers in this one.
Who's your bust out player?
My bust out player is going to be, I'm going to go with, I'm tempted to go with A.J. Dillon. I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon. I think they're going to get up by 17 at the half. And then in the second half, A.J. Dillon is just going to battering ram people into submission.
And you're busted?
My busted player is going to be Danny Dimes.
Okay, Tobin, who you picking, baby?
I've got the Packers all day and twice on Sunday, especially in London.
Okay.
I think 8's light. I agree with Tommy. I think I'll lay those points and just head to the line, head to the window to collect. I think the bust out player, I'm going to go the opposite of the running game there. Aaron Jones, I think, is going to be why they get up so big in the first half. So I think his stat line might be a little bit better. So I'm going to go Aaron Jones. And then I agree with Tommy on the back end. The busted player is Danny Dimes. I mean, he sucks on 2 legs and he's only got 1.5 now. So it's going to be ugly.
I'm taking the Packers as well, making it the clean sweep as usual for us.
I don't think we can even screw this one up, guys.
However, I think Barkley's going to have a good game. I think he's going to be the bust-out player. I think he's going to put up, if they have any offense, it all has to be go through Barkley. Barkley's going to put up somewhere between 18 and 23 fantasy points. I'll take that for a bust-out player as my RB2. My busted player got to be Danny Dimes. I don't think there's any doubt about Danny Dimes being the bust-out player at this point in time in this game.
Barkley's going to have to beat an 8-man box to do that, I think.
I think so, and I think he can. That's the difference between them, especially there in looking at the numbers that the Packers gave up last week in rushing to the New England Patriots against 2 running backs who, quite frankly, shouldn't be in the same locker room as Barkley. I think Barkley's going to have a good game.
Yep.
Possible. Okay, moving to the next game, Lions versus the Patriots. Man, I chose the Lions, but I'm kind of torn on this one because the Patriots defense is that good. But I'm taking the Lions. I think this is going to be a prove-it game for the Lions and their offense. Can they do it against above average defense at that point in time? My bust-out player, it's hard not to choose Jamal Williams. You know that? He runs the ball. He looks like the role of an RB1 for an NFL football team. Devontae Swift Swift better get healthy in a hurry, otherwise he's not going to have a role to come back to. And my busted player, who's the starting quarterback from this, Hoyer or Zappa?
Zappy.
I'm going to choose Zappy.
Bailey Zappy.
Zappy's got to be the bust player this week just because, man, if he doesn't put up at least 275 and 2, it's going to be a bust because that defense is that bad for the Lions. Once the Lions acquire a defense, which will probably happen next year, they're going to be hard to beat. Tom?
Wow. The Lions lead the league in scoring with 140 points. They also lead the league in points allowed at 141.
Mm-hmm.
It's consistency.
It makes them entertaining to watch.
I love, from a fantasy perspective, Jared Goff, Jamal Williams, and TJ Hawkinson.
Mm-hmm.
If Amon-Ra or DJ Chark comes back, it'll certainly help. But, man, I am nervous about them going to New England because, remember, with Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Jared Goff scored 3 points against the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. 3.
Yep. So choose one.
Give me the Patriots.
Okay. Who's your busted player of the week?
Goff.
Your bust out?
I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay, Tobin.
I'm going to go with Tommy on this one. I'm going Patriots at home. I think Belichick's already living rent-free in Goff's head. I think the bust-out player is... I'm going to go with Harris. It's Harris or Stevenson, one of those two. I mean, they're going to have to manage this game.
It's probably both.
And then, I mean, as bad as Detroit's defense is, I think they can get away with this and still put up 24 points maybe and win this thing. My busted player, I'm going to go with Hawkinson. I think Belichick is going to take him away. He's just due for a letdown after the explosion last week, too.
Okay, Tom, Seahawks, Saints.
I'm going to go with the Saints here. Man, the Seahawks had a great game against Detroit in a dome, but this is a different dome. This is a different defense. Rashad Penny didn't practice today on Wednesday with his shoulder. I don't think that's a big deal. I think it's a rest day. I mean, I would want to rest Rashad Penny every second I could so he'd be actually healthy on game day. DK probably won't have to take a cart ride. Lockett is going to be fine. Geno, he'll do okay, but he'll be Geno Smith, so I wouldn't expect too much. The Saints might get Kamara back, probably not getting Michael Thomas back, but they've got Chris Olave, and Andy Dalton showed me that he can be just as good as Jameis, although you're not going to get the 60-yard deep ball that you would with Jameis. I got to take the Saints here. My bust out will be, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Chris Olave. I'm going to say my busted is going to be Geno Smith.
Okay, Tobin?
I'm going to go with the Saints. Just something about being in the dome there. I like them. I think bust out. I agree. I think it's Olave. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get a lot of attention, I think, but I think he's at that level. Busted. I'm going to go with Penny.
Okay. I, too, am taking the Saints. But I'm taking a different wide receiver for my bust out, and that's going to be Michael Thomas. But I agree with Tobin. Penny, they're going to load the box and stop Penny. They're going to load the box, go after Smith, Penny, because let them throw the ball long. They've got guys who can cover him at that point in time. Lattimore versus DK should be a very interesting matchup to watch. But I think that the Saints actually win probably by double digits at this point in time. Okay, next game, Texans versus the Jags. Tobin?
I'm going to take the Jags in this one. I don't really have a lot on this one. I think I like what I'm seeing from the Jags offense. Their defense doesn't really excite me a whole lot, but I think this is the game that you might see ATN bust out. So I'm going to take him. I think the Texans are vulnerable to that swing pass, that swing route and out in space. And I think Peterson is slowly working that into what he's doing. And obviously with Robinson's game last week, they figured they've got to get a little more creative now. Busted. I got to take Davis Mills until he proves he's, more than 12 for 87 yards or whatever he ended up with last week. It was bad.
It wasn't good. Well, I too am taking the Jags. I think the Jags are a team on the rise, and I think that they are very good. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a very good game, probably because he throws the ball to Etienne out of the backfield for extra yardage and that type of stuff as it goes all across there. My busted player is going to be Pierce, running back for the Texans. Tom?
I couldn't disagree more with that take. Obviously, you've forgotten that Miles Sanders had 134 yards against these same Jaguars.
Miles Sanders is the 5th ranked running back in fantasy football right now.
Yeah, and he's terrible.
He's been pretty good for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's great. He's terrible.
Until he gets injured, then it will change.
Dameon Pierce will be fine. I'm in a league starting Dameon Pierce and James Robinson this week, so
you're not going to score any points at running back. Is that what I hear?
I'll be just fine.
Okay.
My bust out is going to be James Robinson. He is going to destroy the Texans.
Who are you taking, first of all? Jags?
Oh, yes, definitely the Jags. The Jags, this is like a Jags by maybe 20.
Yeah, that 7's looking pretty juicy.
Jags,
right now.
Robinson, who's your busted player?
My busted's Davis Mills. He can't compete with the Jaguars. He can't keep up with them. They're going to run the ball easily against the Jaguars.
Okay. Well, my next game on the list is the Bears versus the Vikings. I'm obviously taking the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to end up blowing the Bears out. The Bears are probably... Are they the worst team in football? They're definitely in the discussion, the final 2 or 3 teams that should be there.
They shouldn't have beat the 49ers.
No, they should not have beat the 49ers.
If it's not in a swimming pool, there's no way they do.
Yep. My busted player is going to be Fields until proven otherwise. Until he has a game that at least makes it look like he should be that he, for one game, is at least a competent NFL quarterback. He's going to be my bust of the game. I don't think that's going to happen yet this year. My bust out is, man, it's hard not to take Jefferson, but I think Adam Thielen's going to have a good game. Okay, Tom?
I agree with the Vikings. The Bears stink. The only player I think you can play is Khalil Herbert. He's the only one who has enough of a defined role where he will get the ball. I won't play Montgomery or Fields, not that I have him anywhere. If you have Darnell Mooney or Cole Kmet, play them at your own peril. I would not. Although, in a weird way, I'm considering playing Kmet in the Dynasty League only because my options are terrible right now. I love Cook, Madison, Jefferson, but Thielen is definitely the guy that I think just shows up this week in a random Adam Thielen game. 6 for 60 and 2. You can play Captain Kirk if you have to, but I wouldn't want to.
Tobin?
I too have the Vikings. That skull chant's going to be loud and proud in the dome there. Yes, Tommy's got it down. Man, the Bear, can you pick the whole Bears roster for the bust?
Who'd you pick as your bust, Tom?
Fields.
Okay.
We've got the trifecta there. Fields is just not shown.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah. And bust out. I tried it last week and missed. I think I'm gonna go back with him again. I think Irv Smith at tight end. I think
you gonna go back to that bus, are you?
I'm riding that bus. I like Irv. I like Big Irv.
Okay. Next game we have on the list is Dolphins versus the Jets. Tom?
I'm going to take the Dolphins, even with Teddy Two Gloves. I don't know how good Ty Freak or Waddle will be if Waddle plays. I just think the Dolphins are so much better than the Jets that they'll beat them on that. I don't like it. I wouldn't bet this game because the Dolphins typically don't play well in New York for whatever reason. I love Breece Hall going forward. I think he's just going to continue to out-touch Michael Carter. Nowhere near Doc's predictions or projections. And Corey Davis is the receiver to have right now, especially with Wilson back. I'm expecting one of these wide receivers, Corey Davis or Garrett Wilson, to have a really sneaky big day. I'm going to go ahead and say my bust out will be Corey Davis. My busted is going to be, I'm going to say Jalen Waddle.
Okay, Tobin.
I'm going fins up here with the Dolphins. I agree with Tom. They seem to struggle in New York for whatever reason, but I think they're just that much better than the Jets right now. I think the Jets are a year away at least, which we've said for the last dozen or so years. So my bust out player is going to be Tyreek. He's got just too much speed for that secondary the Jets have.
Come on, Sauce can cover him.
Yeah, covering him. He's gonna get the peace sign as he goes by him. Deuces up, baby. There'll be a flag involved. Busted. I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson. I don't know. I think he's not getting the love, and
well, Corey Davis is healthy. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
And Wilson's back.
Yeah, and Zach likes, he likes what he likes.
Mm-hmm. And he liked him some Corey Davis
and some Cougars, but there's that.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Jets because the Dolphins don't play well in New York, and I think the Jets are going to. They're a young team. They're on a high right now. I think they're going to ride that for a couple more games and see what happens. With Flacco, with Wilson as the starting quarterback, I think that the Jets are going to win this game because it's at home. If it was at Miami, I'd take Miami, but it's not. My bust out player, I actually had two that I was trying to choose from, either Corey Davis or Breece Hall. I'm going to go with Hall because I think.
I was going to say, if he doesn't say Breece Hall, I'm throwing something at him because he's going to be a top 10 after this week, right, Tommy?
That's right. That's what he said.
And I said, this is 2 weeks now, he'll be a top 10. This is the final transition to him being the number one back in the Jets is this week.
He's transitioning? Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm saying, he's transitioning from being a shared running back to a single running back.
I mean, I love the kid. He's a Wichita Northwest product. That's where my kid went to school. She went to school with him, in fact. So hard not to like him, but top 10's a reach right now.
Yeah, we'll see. My busted player is going to be Teddy Two Gloves. It's hard not to choose Teddy Two Gloves throwing the ball. I mean, is he talented? Yeah. Has he got small hands, can on the ball? Yeah. There's a reason why he wears two gloves, because he fumbles and drops it all the time. So the next game, Bucks versus the Falcons. Falcons versus the Bucks. Tom, who are you taking?
Well, Tommy's going to be pissed. Not this Tommy. Tommy Brady. not only because he and Giselle are hiring divorce lawyers, but he's mad about losing, and he's going to turn it around, and the Falcons are going to pay the price for it. I mean, Brady, Evans, Lenny, maybe even Godwin. Definitely defense. You want all your bucks in right here. My breakout, I'll go ahead and go Brady. Could be Evans. He could have a 3 TD game. It's going to be awesome to watch the scoreboard. For the Falcons, it's going to be Mariota. He is going to get abused this week. I wouldn't be playing Pitts, even though he's already injured. He'll probably gut it out. I wouldn't play London. I wouldn't play Algier, although I think he's the one who benefits the most from Patterson being out.
So who are you taking as your bust out?
My bust out is Brady.
You're busted?
My busted is Mariota.
Okay. You threw out so many names I couldn't keep track of which one you were going to go
with.
with.
Just reading down the roster is what I think of.
Yeah. Tobin, who you taking?
I've got the Bucks in this one. There's just not much argument there. I think the bust out this week's going to be Godwin. I think this is the week he comes back and kind of plants that he's healthy finally. Busted. I think it's going to be Algier. I think that young lad's going to get his eyes opened a little bit with that front seven the Bucks have. We're going to see how good he can pick up the blitz. We'll say that.
Okay. I'm taking the Bucks as well, making it to where we're all agreeing on this game. I think Tyler Algier is going to have a good game. I wrote him down as my bust out player because I think he's going to touch the ball a lot and get probably somewhere between 12 and 17 fantasy points for a running back for the Falcons, which I would take. I have to start him in one of my leagues, the eliminated league that we're in. I have my choice of him or him as my number 2 running back. So I'm putting Algier there. I actually went and picked him up on purpose because I think he's going to be one of the ones going forward, especially since in that league, which is you rank, once the team gets limited, their whole team becomes available for pickup. Whoever has the lowest point total gets the first pickup. I'm the second highest scoring team. So far, I haven't been able to pick up anybody that I wanted. I'm kind of getting down at the bottom, picking stuff over. So getting Algier, I thought was a good thing. I think Algier is going to get me 12 to 17 points as a RB2 in that league. My busted player of the week, man, it's hard not to go with Pitts, even though he's not playing. Since he's injured, I'm going to go with Mariota because I don't want to choose somebody who's not going to be playing at that point in time. Although they fooled us last week, will they fool us again? I don't think so with that Buccaneers defense. For the last game, Tobin, 49ers Panthers.
Well, I think the NFL schedule did the Niners a favor here, putting this into the late slot. That the West Coast going all the way across country into that a 9 a.m. game for them normally. If it's or a 1, I guess it's 10 a.m. But I'm going to take the Niners. Going across, taking the long flight to kick some Panther butt. My bust out. I think this is the week Ayuk shows up. I know we've been saying that and kind of all been high on him, and he's kind of run second fiddle here. So I'm going to go with Ayuk on the bust out, and I think Baker's busted. He's going to need ice bags after this game.
Okay.
And he's already losing. He's already lost the fans. Does he lose the locker room after this one?
I'm taking the 49ers. I don't think there's any doubt the 49ers are going to win this game going away. Of course, we thought the same thing going into Denver. We thought the same thing at Chicago, and it didn't work out very well for them either way they did it. But I think this is the one where I think the 49ers have righted the ship, and I think the 49ers, who are the most talented team in the NFL outside of Buffalo, put it together at this point in time and start putting that run together to become the dominant team in the NFC West. Excuse me. My bust out player is going to be Kittle. I think this is one of those games that just got Kittle name written all over it. Jimmy G's going to find him. He's going to brutalize people as he runs down the field, thinking he's a WWE superstar. My busted player going to be CMC. I think they're going to load the box for him. I think they're going to do everything they can. He's the only weapon they've got at this point in time. I mean, take the number 1 weapon away, you control the game. Yep. CMC is the number 1 weapon.
Yep.
Tom?
Yeah, I got the 49ers. You have to like Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. I guess you kind of like Jeff Wilson Jr., but I don't like relying on these 49ers running backs. I'll take Ayuk as my bust out. I'll take CMC as my busted. Again, just like you said, they're going to stop him. They're going to gear everything around stopping him. If DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson beats him, good on you.
Yeah, you beat us.
Right. You outplayed us.
Yeah.
It's not because we didn't take away your best weapon.
Another thing about this game that I don't like CMC, this is one of those games against a physical football team that CMC tends to get banged up against and get these little injuries and stuff. I think that could happen very early for him. If I had CMC and I had anything close to an option to choose him, I would choose my RB3 over CMC if I had to at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that could do that. I think you have to play him if you took the chance on him.
Just saying, there are so many running backs out there who I mean, we have teams that have 3, 4, 5 running backs in some leagues that are very viable options to be played. If I had CMC and I had one of those where I had somebody else behind him at that point in time, I'd start him over CMC because this is one of those games that just got CMC getting shut down, CMC getting injury written all over it.
Yeah, possible.
And with that, we're out of here till next week. We'll cover our records and how we did in the leagues this next week, and everybody have a great evening.
See how many more games Tobin pulls ahead.
Yeah, there you go. See ya.